What's up, guys? It is the Sound Alchemist here with
Gersh1,
and we're back at it to answer your questions in another installment of For the Greater.
This is a video series where you, the viewer, ask us questions and we answer them for you every single week. So if you want a question to be answered by us, just comment down below. Put question in front of your question because it's easier for us to get to that question and skip all the suggestions and the comments and the nonsense. This question comes from Cameron Cross. That's a really cool name. Easy to read. Anyways, he says, with a new edition announcement, what's going to happen with the Space Wolves? Boom, boom, boom. So the Space Wolves have been getting a lot of love, especially with the burning of Prospero. I have a feeling that close combat will get a buff.
Ooh, and that feeling is basically confirmed. If you guys have been keeping up with GW's Facebook page and the Warhammer community, they've been slowly giving us little leaks and insights as to what's going on in 8th edition.
Yep, and it seems like a lot of the shooting aspects of the game, not so much are going to get pushed back or anything like that, but close combat is actually going to get pushed up. So you're going to have, when you're running into close combat, initiative matters no more.
There is no initiative value anymore.
Exactly. So now what's important is who attacks first. Perfect for orc boys who are on open truck that can just jump out and run and charge.
That's right. Or if you got knob bikers, that's, yeah.
Perfect.
They'll be hitting hard.
Same thing goes with Space Marines. Now, I don't know if, like, a charge after deploying from a drop pod is going to be available, because right now it's not, right?
No.
But if it continues to go where close combat is more, I don't know, buffed, I guess, and then maybe we will get a special unit that gets to charge on, you know, dropping from a drop pod. Right?
That's right. All these Space Wolves, you got like the Blood Claws, all this awesomeness, like
Dreadnots.
the Dreadnots, the Cavalry,
Yep.
Thunderwolves. They're all going to be basically buffed up now that the close combat is so much more important and devastating.
Yes.
So it's a lot more tactical, because now you got to like think about, oh, if I move 12 inches this time, will I be in range for him to charge me? Or should I hide behind here and then go for the charge?
Exactly, yeah. So all in all, Space Wolves, I feel that they're going to get a buff. The same with all close combat armies.
Right.
How big that buff is going to be, right now it's looking like it's going to be pretty big. So we'll see. We're going to do another video once the 8th edition rules completely come out, and then we can do like a pro and con and whatnot.
That's right.
But yeah, thank you for that question.
Yeah, good question.
Next question.
This one is by Anthony Wood. Hi guys, new edition is most likely to get an awesome starter box. Why am I talking like that? If you guys worked at GW, what factions and units would you put in the starter box for 8th edition?
Well, before we answer what we would put, what I think it's going to be Death Guard versus Space Marine. Space Marine has to stay on there.
Right, but which Space Marine though? Ultramarines? Yeah,
because of Gilliman probably. And then Ultramarines, you could take an Ultramarine unit and you can turn it into whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be Ultramarines versus the Death Guard, because the Death Guard have been getting their own little snippets.
Yeah, they released a video like kind of foreshadowing the Death Guard release, but I heard that it's not coming out till like the end of the year. So maybe that's why they're holding off on Death Guard, because they're going to be in the 8th edition box.
Right.
But
is 8th edition going to take that long?
I'm hoping not.
Oh.
I thought it was going to be here like within the next 4 weeks or so. But
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Now, what races would we choose? I think we're going to keep it basic and say that this first Space Marine, there has to be a Space Marine unit. My Space Marine unit that I would choose is Ultramarines, because again, you can create an Ultramarine army, or you can turn an Ultramarine army into any other type of army. So then the other race would be Orcs. The reason for that is I would give them models that aren't like you can't purchase at GW anymore. So like the War Buggy, War Track, the Death Copters, bring them back, because they've already done this with Assault on Blackreach. They had the helicopters, and you could only get the helicopters if you bought the whole box set. So I hope they do that again, and then they throw in some war buggies or war trucks.
Yeah, going with that same concept, I feel like you gotta have Space Marines on there. But I would say maybe Dark Angels or the Salamanders. Now that being said, since you don't want to have like a generic, well, I guess you could, since you could paint them any color. But if you put Dark Angels in there, that's kind of give you more incentive to get Cypher and put them in there, or more incentive to maybe put out the Primarch, you know, the Lion. Maybe he doesn't come back as a loyalist, maybe he's a traitor, but you have this squad that's trying to find out what made him go traitor.
Right.
And for their combatants, definitely some Black Legion Chaos Space Marines. You want to have Abaddon in there, maybe put in a new Fabius Bile or that Demon Prince Bellicor. Give him some new models or something.
Yep. Next question comes from Matt. What video game character would you like to see in 40k? Of course, Spartans are like Space Marines. So does that mean Kratos from God of War?
I was thinking the Halo Spartans.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of like Spartans.
Yeah.
What video game character?
Qbert.
Who's Qbert?
Is that like old school? Like he's like an orange ball with like little like weird mouth.
I don't know.
Think of Pac-Man basically.
What about what his name is? Papa the Rappa?
No. Parappa the Rappa.
There you go. That's what I would like to see in 40k.
Just put Spyro in there.
Spyro, yeah. What's his name? Crash Bandicoot.
Ooh, yes.
Bring more Xenos into the Warhammer 40k universe. Next question.
Adam Nystrom. When did the Orcs attack Terra for the first time? Is the attack on Terra in The Beast Arises the only one?
Yeah, as far as I know, yeah. They've never actually gotten to Terra. I don't know why.
Probably because it's one of the most heavily defended planets in all of the solar system.
Right, but even before that, well, I guess because Terra is so out in the Milky Way galaxy, like it's in one of the tails, or what do you call it, spiral tentacles?
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, because orcs have been around longer than humans, but they've never attacked Terra, not even in the Age of Strife, which I find kind of weird.
But yeah, the Beast, that is the only one I know of.
Yeah.
Obviously you got Armageddon, but that's not Terra.
Right, yeah. Next question.
This one is by, what's his name? I don't know why I struggled. Cameron Cross. With the new edition announcement.
Oh, we already read that one.
Oh, yeah. Never mind. Next, Gersh.
Oh, okay. I got a question from Lucid Dreamer. I've tried doing that. Can't do it. If you were a perpetual, which of the Chaos Gods would you rather capture your soul, not to possess, but to torture you for eternity? You know, like a nice snack pack of primal emotions. So if I was a perpetual, Slanesh probably. Because it's pleasure, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
And agony, though. Yeah, Slanesh still.
I feel like it would be Zeech, because he'd have, like, different ways of dying. It's always going to change. It's always going to be something different.
Actually, now that you think about it, Tzeentch, it would be a little better, because Tzeentch would give you, like kind of a way to hurt yourself by learning certain, like, powers or something like that.
Right.
Next question.
This one is by Raka. What would you recommend to get first to a person who wants to build their own Space Marine army?
Starter set.
Yeah, definitely get a starter. It's going to give you the rules, the templates, a little bit of models, basically all the beginnings that you need to start off.
Yeah. Yep.
Definitely wait till 8th edition drops. I wouldn't necessarily pick anything up now since they're making a huge change to the whole game. So basically read up on your lore, find out what you want to do, and then just save up that money.
Yeah.
You're going to need it.
The Livend. Do you think the Emperor will eventually become an actual god existing in the warp? And would that mean the end of Terra? Or would he close the warp rift under the Imperial Palace? No, I don't think that he's ever going to become the Emperor, but if you watch these episodes, if you've been watching us for a while, you know that we're almost always wrong.
Almost always.
So, who knows, maybe 8th edition is when the Emperor dies and the warp rift does close. what would be super awesome is if the Emperor died and demons came into Terra, and there was a box set, a lot like Armageddon, where you had units of the Adeptus Custodes versus like demons and whatnot. Ooh. And then they gave you terrain, like Terra terrain, because Terra is supposed to be an entire hive planet, I think it's called, where like everything, like there's no more green, it's all building upon building. So that would be really awesome. But would it happen? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the good guys are gonna win, but maybe not this time. You never know. It's a new GW, guys. Mm-hmm. This one's by Shower Babies 1. Can I eat your asses?
Only if you ask politely.
Mm-hmm. I prefer spoons, not forks.
Okay. Miggy Ray Requinil. He has 2 questions. What faction is equivalent to Bretonnian from Warhammer Fantasy? Bretonnian from Warhammer Fantasy.
That's like the knights and stuff.
So your Ultramarines.
I was thinking more like Guard. Well,
I don't know too much about fantasy. Because back in fantasy days, the knights were the top tier, right?
Right. Well, actually, yeah, I guess that would be the Space Marines.
And will the Slann return as factions in 40k? I hope not. It's going to look ridiculous because you have an Aztec Mayan themed race in space. So not only do we have to put up with the fact that there's bikes riding around on the battlefield, but now we have to put up with lizard people being drawn on carriages. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Like, oh, I got this Land Raider. What do you got?
Yeah.
Carriage.
I got 4 people carrying me on a magic carpet or some shit.
A piece of wood.
Yeah. Next question.
This one is by Abaddon380. Are you Alfarius?
Alfarius, I can't remember what the saying is. Yes, sure.
I too am Alfarius.
Okay, is that the saying? Okay. All Opeless GR. Can a human fall in love with an Eldar, or an Eldar with a human? Because I read somewhere about a human assassin fell in love with an Eldar Farseer. Yeah, it can happen.
Definitely. There's actually hybrids of these human Eldar that are powerful psychers, but GW's like, nah, not anymore.
Yeah. It got retconned.
Mm-hmm.
Next question.
A. Wolfenstein. Why are the Emperor's children still named the Emperor's children after the heresy? That's pretty simple. It's like a slap in the face to the Emperor. It's like they're basically mocking him. Like,
basically, yeah. The Council of Mechanized Space Fungus. Why aren't there living saints ascended from a space marine? Figured if SOBs and even IGs are worthy enough to ascend, surely as space marines are fucking worth it too. Space marines are different though than Sisters of Battle or Imperial Guard.
Right.
They're not human for one, and number 2, they're not human.
Number 3, they're not human.
Yeah, I think because that's what it is to be a saint, right? To be a person touched by
God or the Emperor.
But if you're genetically engineered by the Emperor, then you're already there.
Oh, and number 4, you're not human.
Yeah. Okay.
Thomas Kenny, between humans and at the prime, like the Golden Age, and the Eldar at their prime, who was better technology-wise, and whose empire was the biggest and strongest?
So basically, the Golden Age of the Eldar and
Golden Age of the Imperium.
Yep, the Dark Age of technology.
That's right.
I'm gonna say that the Eldar because of the psychic abilities.
Yeah, definitely Eldar. Eldar, they're even more technologically advanced now that, you know, even though the Imperium was like back then.
Right.
So even though they're a dying race, they still got better tech than the Space Marines, than basically anything. So Eldar, definitely.
And they had the webway.
True.
The Imperium did not. Question from Mike Cat. Could the machine spirit be a form of AI that has a set of rules in place, like a prime directive of RoboCop or iRobot? That way they don't revolt like Men of Iron. Also, do you... Well, let's answer that one first. So my answer to that is no, I don't think so. I think the machine spirit is something that was thought of in uneducated people's minds that saw machines, and because of the way the warp works, it
made it a reality.
Yeah, it manifested in that way.
Yeah, I think of it a little bit differently. I feel like machine spirits are something that is innate in every type of robotic device, and it just takes something else to kind of activate it. So obviously, if you praise the machine spirit, you're like, oh, come on, car, you can go this extra mile. It's going to be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like Metabots.
There you go, just like Metabots.
That way they don't... Okay, and then he says, also, do you ever see the return of the Men of Iron as a playable race? I hope so. That would be awesome. Make them like the Contemptor Dreadnots, where they're like big, bulky, very, very machine-like.
Yeah, I want them to be definitely different than everything else robotic-wise in 40k, but definitely be more...
I don't want it to be more human.
No, I want it to be more like... How do I put it? Like, I don't want them to look humanoid. Like, I don't want them to have 2 feet, 2 arms. I want them to be more like...
Like the walkers from the Skatari?
Something like that, yeah.
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 Yeah, something that... Yeah, like that.
Mm-hmm. Like, kind of like spider bodies or something like that. I don't know.
Yep. Last question.
This one is... that's not a good one. You got any good ones?
Simon Hartford. What happens to the space? What happens to the Space Wolves after the Wrath of Magnus and the Gathering Storm events? I think that's where we left off, right?
Yeah, basically. To put it in a nutshell, they took some heavy losses and they're basically trying to regroup. There's rumors of Lehman Russ coming back. Hopefully he's gonna get their armies, you know, back to strength. So I just gotta wait and see what happens.
Yep, and those were the questions for this week, guys. Thank you so much for sending them our way. If you guys want to help us out a little bit more, comment down below, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the little bell notification button that tells YouTube that, you know, you really like our stuff. Send us your social security number via email with a picture or a copy of your photo ID. That really helps us out too.
Yeah, definitely. If possible, maybe just send us the actual thing, because, you know, pictures aren't very necessary in today's world.
Yes. Thank you guys so much. Comment down below.
That's right. As always, I'm the Sound Alchemist.
Gersh1.
We are One Mind Syndicate, and we are out of here.